In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the new 2025 ASUS ROG Strix Scar 16. In my opinion, this laptop is a true desktop replacement, and ASUS did not hold back on the new Scar 16. I mean, this thing is packed with new features, like a 24-core CPU, up to an RTX 5090, easily upgradable storage and RAM, plus we've got a new Nebula mini LED display here. This laptop does come with a pretty beefy power supply given the specs that we're working with. It's actually a 380 watt PSU, but let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. And of course, one of the main features for the new 2025 Scar 16 is that RTX 5000 series GPU. You can opt to get up to the RTX 5090 with this, but the one we're going to be taking a look at has the RTX 5080. We've also got the all-new Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX with 24 cores and 24 threads. But one of my favorite features is the new screen that ASUS opted to use here. This is a Nebula HDR display. And with a name like Scar 16, obviously we've got a 16-inch panel here, and it is absolutely beautiful. I'll tell you, when I first opened this thing up, I was under the impression that this was an OLED screen, but it's actually not. It's mini LED. Again, it's their new Nebula HDR display. Mini LED, up to 1200 nits of brightness, 2000 dimming zones in the screen, 240 Hz, 3 millisecond response time. It's using new ARC technology, 100% DCI-P3. It supports G-Sync, display HDR 1000, and it's Pantone validated. 16-inch, 16 by 10 aspect ratio, and 2560 by 1600. It wouldn't be a real gaming laptop without a bunch of RGB, and as you can see, we've got full surround aura, a full-size per-key RGB backlit keyboard with N-key rollover. It is a chiclet-style keyboard. I mean, that's what we're getting in these laptops, but it's a really nice gaming-grade keyboard here. Massive trackpad, super smooth, love the way this thing feels. Plus, we've got that number lock system, so we've actually got a number pad built in with this laptop. It does come in really handy. And on the back of the top cover, we've also got Anime Vision built in. So this is actually a newer setup, more LEDs, and we can customize this with our own image from Armory Crate, or we can use the presets that they have built in. When it comes to I/O, over here on the left-hand side, we've got a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, HDMI 2.1. We've also got a full-size USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, two Thunderbolt 5 ports, and a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Moving over to the right-hand side, we've got two more full-size USB 3.2 Gen 2 ports. When it comes to the overall specs, like I mentioned, we've got that new Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX, and with this, we get 24 cores, 24 threads, 36 megabytes of cache, and this will clock up to 5.4 gigahertz. It's also got the Intel AI Boost NPU up to 13 tops all by itself there. This Scar 16 has the Nvidia GeForce RTX 5080 laptop GPU with ROG boost up to 1550 megahertz at 175 watts. So we've got an extra 25 watts of dynamic boost that we can enable. It supports up to 64 gigabytes of DDR5 at 5600 and two M.2 SSD slots. This came with a 2 terabyte drive pre-installed, and it is so easy to get in here and upgrade that storage and RAM. Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and nobody said that this was a light gaming laptop. It's actually coming in at 6.17 pounds. I said that upgrading the storage and RAM on this is really easy, and this kind of blew me away when I found out about it. Usually on laptops like this, we do have a ton of screws that we need to remove, and even some older ones, you'll have to remove the rubber feet to get down to screws. But with this, it's using their brand new toolless design. We've got a single latch on the bottom. Once we unlock it, we can slide the bottom cover right off. It's so easy to get in here. Now we've got access to the RAM, storage, battery, and even the cooling system on the Scar 16. This utilizes SODIMM DDR5, so we don't have to worry about soldered RAM not being upgradable. And we've got two M.2 slots, PCIe 4.0 up to 2 terabytes each. You can bring the total RAM up to 64 gigs here and storage up to 4 terabytes. But now I want to get into a little bit of gaming on the built-in display. Then we're going to move over to my game capture, give you a look at the software, and then of course we need to test out more games on this RTX 5080 laptop. But the first one we have here is Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered, 1600p, very high, no DLSS, no frame gen up front. I really wanted to see how this would run at a native 1600p on this RTX 5080 laptop, and we're getting over 100 FPS on average. But if that's not enough for you, you can always enable DLSS frame generation. And now we're getting an average over 145 FPS, and we're using the same settings. So I'm not using any resolution scale, just DLSS frame gen. Very high, 1600p. We definitely had to take a look at Cyberpunk 2077, and right now we're at 1600p, no DLSS, no frame gen, ultra settings. No ray tracing yet, we will enable it in just a bit, but I wanted to show you what this would do. Not too bad, an average over 80 FPS, even in this really intense area here, this market square. So at that native 1600p ultra settings, looking really good, but with Cyberpunk 2077, we've got DLSS multi-frame generation, taking it to X4, still using those settings, ultra, no resolution scale with DLSS, just frame gen, 1600p, over 170 FPS on average. But wait, there's more. Wanted to give you a closer look. Ray tracing overdrive, and we're also going to enable path tracing here. We're still using frame generation, and with ray tracing set to overdrive, we need some DLSS. I'm just going to leave it right there at auto. And we're still at 1600p, the native resolution of the laptop screen. So 2560 by 1600 with ray tracing set to overdrive. With it set up like this, we're seeing an average of 141 FPS, and this is one of the big reasons I say that this is a desktop replacement. This is basically all I would need to game with. I mean, I actually wouldn't mind going down to 1080p with ray tracing set to overdrive, but either way, we're over 1440p, and if you wanted to go out from HDMI or even one of the Thunderbolt 4 ports here, you could definitely do it. The Thunderbolt 4 ports will support G-Sync, so if you're going to a G-Sync compatible monitor, then you don't have to worry about any kind of frame tearing or anything like that. But, I mean, this is some really amazing performance for a laptop. I definitely wanted to give you a closer look at a few things, so I've just plugged this into my game capture, and as you can see, we've got the Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX, 24 cores, 24 threads, and in this laptop, it's putting down some really great performance. 32 gigs of DDR5 at 5600. We've still got access to the Intel iGPU, but obviously we're not going to be using that because we've got the Nvidia GeForce RTX 5080 laptop variant, 16 gigs of GDDR6, and since we're working with an ROG device from ASUS, we do have access to Armory Crate, and this is going to come in really handy for kind of tweaking and tuning everything. From the home menu is where I spend most of my time because from here we can actually get more performance out of this unit or better battery life if that's what you're after. Our operating mode, these are some pre-made profiles. We've got Windows, Silent, Performance, Turbo, and Turbo's really where it's going to be for gaming on this device. That's where I'm going to be testing at. We've also got a manual mode, but keep in mind, turbo and manual will not be activated on battery. Manual is pretty cool. We can edit the mode and change the CPU wattage. So our PL1 up to 175 watts. Yeah, this 275HX can really reach that in this. PL2, 175, and of course, across the board from 28 all the way up. CPU fan adjustment from here. We've also got a system fan that we can adjust and the GPU. With dynamic boost, this RTX 5080 can reach close to 175 watts. And right here, we've got our TGP up to 150, but the dynamic boost will allow us to add more. Thermal target, 87. Memory clock offset, 0 up 300 megahertz. And from our base clock offset, from 0 up 200 megahertz. I'm going to reset this to default. And I'll tell you, I mean, if you're looking to squeeze the most out of this device, you can definitely use manual mode here. But I gotta say, turbo mode has been working really well for me. And that's kind of the case with most of these ASUS laptops. Sometimes I find that turbo mode actually works better than just kind of maxing out everything in manual mode. So you might need to experiment, but either way, I mean, performance and turbo, this thing is fast. Devices, and from here we've got our system configuration. Power mode synchronization, so while you're on wall power or battery. From GPU performance, I'm in ultimate mode, so we're strictly going to be using that RTX 5080. In standard mode, we'll swap between the iGPU and the DGPU here because this laptop has Nvidia's Advanced Optimus built in. Customizable hotkeys. We can customize these to our liking. Lighting on this unit. So obviously we've got the side front lighting and we've got that RGB keyboard. Lots of different presets here that you can use, but for the most part, I do rainbow. We can also change the direction, so up or down, left or right. I think it looks really good the way they've got this set up. It does support Aura Sync, so if you've got any other RGB devices from ASUS connected, you can sync them all together. Moving down to Enemy Vision, back of the laptop can be customized. There's an ROG gallery with a few presets, and we can actually add our own image here. I personally haven't done this yet, but it's totally possible, and you can set up different animations or a wallpaper. If you want to go through, download some of those live wallpapers, you can. Scenario profiles. We can customize the macro keys, game library, game visual to adjust the look of the built-in screen, content platform, and from here, settings, we've got our update center. So we can check for updates on the fly. We can have it automatically update for us also. Yeah, I mean, there are some people out there that don't like Armory Crate, but I find it really easy to use and it's got a lot of great features built in. Now I want to move over to some benchmarks and then we'll get back into some gaming with this machine. The first one we have here is Cinebench R24. And remember, we've got the Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX, single core, 131, beating out everything in the R24 list right now, from the M1 Ultra to the M1 Max, and multi-core is looking phenomenal. I mean, of course, we've got 24 cores here, no extra threads, but we got a total score of 2,184. Next up, we've got 3D Mark Steel Nomad. Got a 5,100, not too bad, 51 FPS here. And finally, Time Spy, coming in with a total score of 21,130. And if you take a look at our graphics score, we're right there over 22,000. CPU over 16. I mean, yeah, with the performance we're seeing here just in these synthetic benchmarks, this is an amazing performing laptop. But now it's time to get back into some more real world gaming. Elden Ring, 1440p max settings, and I did test this on the built-in screen at 1600p. Right now I'm just plugged into that game capture. It runs absolutely amazingly. And of course on the channel I test out a lot of lower end GPUs and iGPUs. Whenever I'm able to run this at even 1080p Ultra, it just amazes me how good this game really looks. Spider-Man 2, 1440p, very high settings, no DLSS, no frame generation. I wanted to run this at a native 1440, just maxed out here with no ray tracing, and it does run great. Here's Marvel Rivals, and keep in mind this is still in early access. We're at 1440p Ultra, and I did need to enable a little bit of DLSS here just to keep it up. And with DLSS set to quality, I mean, it took me up from around 75 over 100 on average. And I'd say, you know, a laptop with an RTX 5080 should be able to lock this down at 120 with no DLSS, and hopefully in the future we're able to do that. Borderlands 3, 1440p max settings, and I know it's an older one, but I still wanted to see how it performed because recently, with newer driver updates, Nvidia and AMD on older cards, I've been noticing a lot of hitching with this game. But on this RTX 5080 with the latest driver, seems to be really smooth. And finally, Black Myth Wukong, 1440p, cinematic settings, DLSS set to 70%. If you want to go to Ultra, you can turn DLSS off and it actually runs really well, around the same kind of frame rate we're getting here. But if you've ever tried this at that maximum cinematic preset, you know how hard it can be on a GPU. I mean, basically any GPU out there right now. So far, I've been having a blast with the 2025 ROG Strix Scar 16. This thing puts down way better performance than I thought. Personally, like the RGB they've got here, and I'm not a huge fan of RGB on my desktop PCs, but when it comes to a laptop like this and it has that edge lighting, I've just always liked the look of it. Keyboard, trackpad feel great here. Love the fact that we've got that built-in number pad. And remember, it's got that anime vision around back that can be fully customized. But overall, I mean, yeah, it's a stellar gaming laptop. That RTX 5080 does outperform my expectations. And the Intel Core Ultra 9 275HX can definitely keep up with those 25 cores just trucking right along. But yeah, it's not a cheap laptop. It is a higher tier gaming laptop, coming in with a pretty hefty price tag, especially if you wanted to upgrade to that RTX 5090. But if you're looking for one of these high performance RTX 5000 series laptops, this is something that I can definitely recommend. I'm going to be testing this out for the next couple days. I actually want to compile a little more information on this. So if there's anything else you want to see running or tested on this machine, just let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning a little more, I will leave links in the description. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.